Hey guys, it's me, Cyrus. Welcome back. Today is a very special Christmas edition of Super Mega Graphics 64, and what better topic to cover on Christmas than Batman? There's been a lot of great Batman video games that have graced our screens over the years, and one of my favorites is on the Sega Genesis. Batman on the Genesis is an early example of just how powerful this 16-bit console could be and how much better the graphics and everything could look compared to the NES version. Even though that version looked great, the Genesis version of Batman is absolutely stunning, and the music is great, the graphics are good, the gameplay is great. It sticks pretty close to the Tim Burton movie, which you can't really say about the other versions of Batman that were released. But I can remember seeing this game when it came out and just being absolutely blown away by pretty much everything about it. And it's held up over the years. It's actually really fantastic. There was another game that came out for the Sega Genesis when the next movie came out, and that's Batman Returns. And the results from Batman Returns on the Genesis were not quite as good. We weren't as happy with what happened with that version. The Super Nintendo didn't get a Batman game based on the first movie, but they did get one based on the second one, Batman Returns. And the Super Nintendo Batman Returns is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's really good. It's really, really good. I love that game. It just has a really nice atmosphere. It's fun. Graphics and music, everything's good. The Genesis version didn't quite live up to that. But the Super Nintendo version of Batman Returns has been at least partially ported to the Sega Genesis now, and it's been released today, and you can actually download it for free. Pyron is asking for a donation, but you don't even have to do that. It's free if you want it. There's a link in the description. And I wanted to show you some of what this game looks like. I've got it loaded up on my EverDrive on my Genesis that I was just showing you with Batman. And I haven't played it yet, but we can look at it a little bit together. So let's check out this new version of Batman Returns, the Super Nintendo version, but running on the Sega Genesis, and see what it's all about. Let me bring this back up, and we'll switch over to that ROM. Here we go. Okie dokie. What to expect? I don't know. Hacks and homebrews. Here we go. Batman Returns Mega Drive demo. Let's see what this is all about. You can run this on emulators and, of course, like I am, on original hardware if you have an EverDrive. So he's not using the movie music like the Super Nintendo one did. That's interesting. We'll watch this opening sequence, and then I'll switch over and show you the Super Nintendo version, and we can compare. Oh, that's movie music. It sounds pretty good too. That's pretty cool. Yes, you can play 2 players on this, but I think the 2 player is kind of weird because you're just playing, both players are playing Batman. So I don't know, but it's still pretty cool. There's 2 players. So, all right. That's the opening sequence. So let's check out the Super Nintendo one here and compare. Let me switch over to Super Nintendo and we'll compare the two. All right, here we go. Super Nintendo. And this actually uses like the music from the movie, which I own that soundtrack. I listened to that soundtrack many, many times back in the day. It's pretty cool. It's a good soundtrack. Recreating that music on Super Nintendo is pretty awesome. Obviously, the color is better on the Super Nintendo. They've done the best they can to recreate it on the Genesis. But yeah. Now, the Genesis demo is supposedly running at a little bit higher resolution than the Super Nintendo one. But yeah, the colors are going to look a little bit better, I think, on the Super Nintendo. And the music's definitely better. Michelle Pfeiffer looks great on both consoles. I think Michelle Pfeiffer looks great on anything, probably even the Game Boy. By the way, the bat, the cat, and the penguin thing they did right there, that's actually something that they carried over from a preview that they put on TV for Batman Returns. It was like a 30-minute special that they ran. I watched it back in the day. It was called The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin. You could probably find it on YouTube. So I respect what was done for the Genesis opening sequence, but I gotta tell you, it's nowhere near as good as the Super Nintendo one. I'm sorry. I respect what they did, but Super Nintendo original wins here hands down. But let's check out, before we look at any gameplay there, let's check out the Sega Genesis gameplay, and then we'll compare that to some Super Nintendo gameplay and just see how that stacks up, because that could be a different story altogether. So let's do that. Okay, here we go. Back to the Genesis version. Sorry if there's a little buzzing going on. It's my table, I guess. I have to figure out where that is, but anyway. I'm Batman. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. This is nice. The Super Nintendo one doesn't look like that. Wow, that sounded really good, actually. Wow. Get my turbo going here. There we go. Guys, this is looking really good so far. Let's check this out. And sounding good. Hang on, before I go any further, let me reset my graphics, my capture card, to make sure it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Sometimes it gets a little off. Hang on 1 second. Alright, there we go. Just want to make sure it was properly synchronized. Alright, here we go. Wow, it's interesting they added these little voice clips. I don't know how I feel about the music. The music is okay, but sound effects are fantastic, and the graphics look really, really good. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed. A lot of enemies on screen. I think there's more on the Genesis one than the Super Nintendo one. That barrel that was on the screen didn't quite match up with the ground, but that's okay. Now, there are a couple of other good versions of Batman Returns. One for the NES that's also sort of a side-scrolling beat-em-up. And there's one for the Master System that is actually really good, too. And it's more like, I don't know, it's kind of a action-adventure. It's kind of similar to the Genesis Batman Returns, but better. The Genesis Batman Returns is not all that great. Unfortunately, the regular, the retail version. This Batman Returns on Genesis is obviously a lot better, but yeah. What we want to do is check out the source material again and compare this again to the Super Nintendo version, which is what this is based on. So we'll do that in just a second. See this little boss here. Well, that's from Final Fight. I think that sound effect there is from Final Fight. Wow, that's a lot of enemies. A little graphical glitch up here. It's a work in progress. I don't know where they got that I'm Batman audio from. It's interesting. It's not from the movie. It's not Michael Keaton saying that. Maybe it's from like a arcade version or something. I'm really not sure. Pinball machine or something. Sounds very arcadey. Seems like they might be pushing the graphics a little too hard. We're getting the, like I said, some graphical anomalies. These clowns just keep coming. Almost dead. don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this level. No. Oh, I'm still alive. Okay. Thought I was out of lives. Maybe I am out of lives. It's just letting me play. I don't know. It's a demo. Wow, that was a lot. You and the Mega Drive are the true Dark Knight. I think that's the end of the demo. I don't think it goes any further than that. Wow. Yep, that's it. Okay, well, let's compare those graphics to some Super Nintendo action. It's just gonna sit like this. That's the end of the Mega Drive demo. Okay, and back to the Super Nintendo version. Oh, see, this is different. This is, yeah. So the intros are different as well here. That's obviously from the movie. And that's obviously not in the Genesis one. And this is a whole game, whereas the Genesis one is just a demo. Okay. Oh, and you have batarangs in this, which I don't think you even have in the Genesis one. Interesting. Wow, I didn't even remember that. Okay. Cool. Maybe you do have batarangs and I just didn't figure out how to use them. Again, so it looks like the Genesis one is a little bit higher resolution, but the colors aren't as good, and it's a little different. Obviously, the music is a lot better here. I didn't see anything like that happening in the Genesis demo where the guy was circling the woman. So there's definitely going to be reasons why you want to keep playing the Super Nintendo version, aside from the fact that it's the entire game. But yeah, I love how you can grab these guys and throw them down. You can also throw them against walls and stuff too, which I was trying to do in the Genesis one, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. Maybe there's a way, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it. Oh, I didn't see any bazooka guys in the Genesis one either. Oh yeah, definitely some differences. Okay, let's see if we can throw this guy against the wall. Yeah, there we go. Oh, hang on. Yep. Okay, well, I respect the effort that was put into the demo for the Genesis. That's really awesome. It's kind of more of a proof of concept than anything else. And as that, and as a free experience, I can't complain about it. It's really cool that they have brought the proper Batman Returns to the Genesis. It's not the full version, obviously. It's not going to hold up next to the Super Nintendo one, but it's really cool. It's really cool they decided to do that. But, dude, you got to play the Super Nintendo one. And if you're playing on an emulator, you could play the Super Nintendo one with symphony music from the actual movie. There's a MSU version of the Super Nintendo one if you play it through an emulator, or if you have like the super fancy EverDrive for your Super Nintendo. Of course, me, I'll just stick with the actual cartridge because I love it. I absolutely love this game. Yeah. There you go. Batman Returns, running on the Sega Genesis, and a little bit of a brief comparison to the Super Nintendo version that it's based on. And I think that's enough. Thanks, guys, for watching this. Dude, have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy yourself. Link in the description if you want to go check that out for yourself. And just remember, peace on earth, goodwill towards men and women. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.